Hey everyone, in this video I'll be showing you an overpowered Sariel build in Mortal Shell 2. And honestly, this is a pretty immortal build because when we take damage, we can use that pizza cutter there to be able to regain our pain into health. This is a crazy powerful setup because we can use a few different weapons here. I just really like the scythe because it's obviously meant to be his kind of weapon, but it is strong because, again, pizza cutter. It just staggers weaker enemies, it restores our health, so if we keep getting hit, we're constantly healing ourselves. It is pretty crazy. And the best part about this is we can get our attack speed really fast by getting 30 stacks of warp really quickly. And Sariel's whole shtick is he's pretty much John Bloodborne. So whenever he takes damage, he's going to turn into pain, which he can recover whenever he attacks. And it also has an increase to his dodges whenever he's at max pain. His Exodus of Thorns is annoying because most times it's not going to work. So that's not where we're focusing with this build. However, it can apply Curse, which Curse is really good. He is the only character that has a special ability with Curse here. And what Curse does is if you have enough stacks on the enemy, it'll nullify their next melee attack against you, not ranged, and it'll turn it back against them. So if they attack you, they take that damage, which is really nice. So this gives you the mitigation chance to avoid it. He does have the ability to make enemies curse for 30 seconds. I don't personally love to use this because, again, the thorns are just so frustrating. So you can safely ignore the thorns until they end up patching that probably in the future. But Reaper here is really good because we're constantly going to be taking damage. That's one constant in this game. You're taking damage. So being able to regain your health quickly is a huge thing. So 3 points in this as soon as possible. You can also have so that range damage will cure your pain, which is amazing because this lets you use like a shotgun to get your health back, doing it from a safe distance. After that, I do like to take 1 point of entitlement. Anything more than this, I feel like it's too much. This gives you trauma, which deals break damage over time. It's not a lot. Like, don't put any more than 1 shell point into this because 10 stacks is nice and all, but it's not going to give you a huge amount of break that makes it worth taking, in my opinion. So yeah, 1 stack is nice for a little payoff there. Frailty is another incredibly useful one. So this is going to make it so that when we have no pain, it's going to turn 100% of the incoming damage into pain. So max this one out as soon as possible because there's some enemy attacks that are going to take a huge chunk of your health out. Being able to negate or turn that all into pain and then have the pizza cutter attack is super useful. After that, we're going to take reversal here. So this is only out of necessity because a lot of these other ones are about Exodus of Thorns, which again is not super amazing here, but you can take some of the points from this. I mainly just like it to get riposte damage will cure his pain, which is amazing. But you can take points out of that and put a point into like Torment there. Thorns will give stagger damage based on your pain amount, which is amazing. You can take this. I don't find that to be super beneficial, but you can then take a couple points into this, maybe even go with all 3 of them because perforation will make your sidearm do a little bit more damage. So if you don't like to take reversal there, we can go with these here as well. Agonize is cool, which gives, whenever you're at max pain, great game by the way, you will get your resolve back. However, this isn't going to be super effective because we got our chainsaw attack there, which is going to continually keep healing back our pain, which doesn't mean that we're actually going to be able to take advantage of this, giving us the resolve back. You either get one shot or it just doesn't end up having a good enough timing because you go from max pain down to normal pain levels and you don't get that resolve. So I found that to not be super useful. I've tried a few different setups and it just wasn't that great. But our final one here is restoration. This is actually pretty good. So whenever we use our heal, it's going to cure our pain. So you can get upwards of 70% of your pain gone. Sometimes you just want that because like if you're using a heal and you only have a little bit of health back, like it's just gonna be a waste of a heal. So this can prevent us from wasting heals later on in the game. A fun option though is if you go all in on cursed, you can use affliction here. So when you damage a cursed enemy, it's going to apply to all other cursed enemies. Reminded me of playing Mugenics earlier this year with some of the abilities like that, which I really appreciated. It's fun, but it's a little bit, it doesn't do much against bosses, and this is more so just for mobbing or new game plus. And Thornfall, while it is cool, I'd actually recommend you experiment with the thorns. It's just that there's like most cases, they're gonna get stuck in the roof and do nothing. So that's why I don't like to build around them and just sometimes get the additional stagger off from them. But if you don't want to use the thorns at all, you would take the points out of here and just put 3 points into the Scourge here. And we'd be ending off with a skill tree at this here, and this is at level 50, so if you're going higher, you can obviously adjust those skill points and put them in other locations. But I was able to beat the game around level 40-ish, so that's something you will need. But if you really want to go all in on the Curseblood Stone here will apply to the Iconoclast and the Battle Axe. So you can go with an axe and a sword setup, which do work pretty solid if you want to build around the overall curse theme of his character. And again, it can also make curse last for 30 seconds, which is pretty cool. So if you were to do that, you'd want to put points into reversal again, as mentioned, and then have Scourge, and then into like new game plus or late game, put all 3 points into affliction here. But personally, I feel like the Clockwork Scythe is kind of his weapon. He's the alchemist, and this is Clockwork. It just seems likely to go together. But it also can apply Blood Curse, which is one of the best statuses in the game. I'm also a fan of the Axe and Dagger, great weapon. The Iconoclast, as mentioned, can do the Curse setup. As well, we also have things like, I enjoy Black Needle and the Axe Katana, but the Veteran Battle Axe, I'd probably recommend like the Clockwork Scythe, Dagger, Iconoclast, and the Veteran's Battle Axe for weapons. For our offhand, the Nail Shot is amazing. But we can also use the Cage Hystrix here because this actually can apply Curse as well. So if you don't want to go the Nail Shot with its Blood Curse, that's one that I really like because being able to use one of these stones on this is crazy. You can also go with the Cage Hystrix as well and use whatever seal you find most comfortable. I just like the Tarnish Shield for this setup. But as we get into our support Tarstones, this is the core 4 that I'd highly recommend using. The Auspicious Stone will give you an increased crit chance by 18%. Crits are insane damage in this game. They do bonus damage. We want to get those as much as possible, and also use the Headsman Stone for an increased critical hit damage by 100%. So that is huge. We're also going to want to throw on the Berserker Stone, so when our health dips below 50%, we're going to have a melee damage increase upwards of 165%. So that obviously becomes really good because we're going to be taking damage and getting a boost. Marksman Stone will also increase our range critical hit chance. This one's really important because a lot of the ranged weapons will only apply their statuses on crits, so definitely take this. Now, dependent on the weapon, Thief Stone is insane on this weapon setup because we can use certain Tar Stones to get 30 stacks and, as you saw at the start of this video, attack really quickly. Now, another highly recommended setup is the Axe Katana or the Axe and Dagger and use Duality Stone. This makes it hit twice. It's the best in slot in this game. It's just so insanely powerful. But the Thief Stone works on all of them and it can make the Iconoclast swing really quickly. Early game, the Parasitic Stone will give you more health. Leech just gives you increased max health, which is nice, but you lose it on death. And we're going to use the Splitting Stone here if you're using the crossbow or the repeater here. The crazy part about this is we get multiple projectiles. This is really, really good, guys. Highly recommend using that. You can also throw on like the Unstable Stone there, which creates an explosion, which is nice, but I personally like to throw the Arbiter's Prize on the Great Axe here. So for Infusion, this one is incredible. This also works in the Axe and Dagger, the Iconoclast. Blood Curse does a lot of damage. It's basically bleed from Elden Ring. It is really good. You can also go with a Frost setup with the Great Martyr Sword. That weapon just really slow and has bad animation canceling. I'm also a big fan of using the Axe Katana with Stasis because this slows enemies down and it just allows you to get your health back a little quicker. Highly recommend using that setup if you like the Axe Katana weapon. It is super good. And of course, we can go with the Curseblood Stone on the Axe or the Iconoclast. I'd probably prefer the Iconoclast here. It's just a really good weapon, especially with Warp, making an attack faster. And for our ranged weapon, the Accursed Stone will apply Curse on critical hits, and this will be a really good, useful benefit because we got multiple projectiles. It shoots fast, and you guys will see. We even have an ability stone that's going to be really good for that. So yeah, highly recommend using that. It is super useful. Into the abilities. Now, there's two great ones for the Scythe here. Using the Clockwork Shard Stone, this is going to turn it into the Pizza Cutter, so you just hold this out, you continually damage them. If you get hit with an attack, you're healing back all the damage pretty fast. It's crazy. You can also throw on the Scholar's Wormstone. I actually posted another build recently where you use this, and it gains warp stacks really fast because it's counting as multiple hits. So both of these are amazing on the Scythe. If you're using the Axe and Dagger, Magdalena's Memento's really good because you do a big spinning attack here and it's going to apply weak on the enemies. I'm also a huge fan of the Strike Stone on the Axe Katana, but also the Iconoclast. It can be used on either of those. This just gives you insane amounts of iframes. It is so good. And I know I didn't mention the spear, but if you want to use the spear, the Conqueror's Reward is pretty solid too, but I highly recommend the Strike Stone overall. Now, another cool thing is the Strange Remnant here, which will allow you to do a stream of projectiles on your weapon here. This is super useful. It'll chain them together so you can apply Curse on a lot of people really fast. The only downside being is that whenever you're using this, you do have to get a critical hit for it to apply the curse, but it's nice because then you're going to just negate all the damage. We got a curse off on him. And then we also have our special ability there, which you can see is chaining around to multiple of them. So you can be really good at just not taking damage at all. We don't even have to use our special ability. So you can literally just go in, blast like that, and you see it just chained off to the other target there. He now has curse on him, so if he attacks us, we can avoid that. We have a mitigation chance against it. Didn't mitigate it, but I got the health back already. So yeah, you're playing as John Bloodborne here. You're tanky as heck, so you can literally just go in and cut everyone down. And then if you start to get hit, you just turn on the chainsaw there. So you literally just press X and go boom, and you're just literally cutting them apart. So as you take damage, you're going to continually be doing that explosion there. So yeah, you do some pretty insane amounts of stagger damage and overall damage. It is crazy how powerful this setup is, and the Scythe itself is a great weapon. But if you want to go with the Great Axe, Thief Stone increases attack speed. We're throwing on the Curseblood Stone, and then our ability is going to be the Lost Clot Stone, which lets you throw it. And Curse looks really cool in the axe too. That's another thing, so style points. But yeah, you do a spinning into a throw there, which is hilarious because you just toss it really far. He now has the Curse applied there. The axe itself is pretty decent. I'm not like the biggest fan of it, but it is a good weapon. It does have a fun moveset and a really good running attack. So that's the thing in this game. A lot of the best attacks in the game are actually running attacks. So you want to get into a habit of literally like sprinting in. You get a lot of them that'll give you like invincibility frames, like the Great Martyr Sword, for example. But yeah, Curse is great because we're not taking damage, and then if we do take damage, we're healing it back pretty quickly. So yeah, it's kind of fun because you can use the ranged weapon and do a lot of damage there. So you see we got it to chain around to multiple targets there. So yeah, that's multiple curses getting applied, and then if you have the ability that makes all cursed targets take damage, you can clear out groups of enemies really fast, and it is a really fun setup because we're also healing really quickly too. So yeah, Sariel's actually really good, but not for the reasons you'd imagine. You'd think he'd be good for using his thorns, but no, you basically never want to use those because we have much better abilities with like this, for example, tossing out our axe, which you hit multiple times there, or using our ranged weapons attacks to do a bit of extra damage and chain the curse around to multiple targets. So yeah, Sariel's I feel like he's a character that's a little bit misunderstood with how you want to play him, because most people I feel like use his ability, have it get stuck in a roof, and then they just never use him again because he's just a little bit annoying after that. But being able to mitigate attacks with chaos and do a lot of damage to all the enemies that have chaos, he's a really fun character to play, and I highly recommend trying this out. So if this video is useful, please hit the subscribe button below, and we'll catch you guys all in the next one.